My name is Byron Masterson. I work with Mektek Studio, and I am the project lead and the primary, one of the developers who does work on the various projects that we engage in. Right now we're doing a lot of different games, but we're focusing mostly on mech games. Has been our focus since our inception. We started out as a mod team, so we've kind of stuck with that. Right now we're building a game called Solaris Assault Tech, which is, the idea behind Solaris Assault Tech is it's in the MechWarrior Battletech universe, and it is a game which engages the player in a gladiator style setting. And what we're doing is we're bringing in players with tournament ladders, so they are engaged and they want to play, and we're also making sure the game is quick and fast-paced and enjoyable. In addition, we're building an iOS and Android client, and what we're doing with that is we're allowing spectators to view the matches and then participate in them by betting on the matches, on the outcome of the matches, and also placing bounties on the players. So when you're spectating the game, you're not just spectating it, you're actually playing the game. iOS and Android, so any mobile platforms. We're securing an Android license at the moment. We're also looking at the iOS license. And then in addition, we're securing multiple platforms, including location-based platforms. We're partnering with VWE. VWE has had a long partnership with MechWarrior going back to the 80s. And what they do is they do the Tesla cockpits, which are like VR cockpits where you sit inside a closed space with the screens, and you basically pilot these things in a VR setting. And so we will be doing that as well. The story started out, like I said a little bit earlier, started out in the mid-90s as a mod group. Basically, we did work on MechWarrior 2 and MechWarrior 3. We started out adding maps and other things and making various additions. And then in MechWarrior 4, we actually started adding content. We added mechs. We partnered a little bit with Microsoft. They gave us permission to add a lot of content to the game. We tripled the number of mechs in the game. We also added a lot of weapons and maps and all that sort of thing. And then towards the end of the development cycle, we started actually modifying the gameplay mechanics, changing how the radar works and making it more like the classic lore. And then more recently, we got permission from Microsoft to release MechWarrior for free. So we developed a client called MTX that actually allows us to distribute the game over torrent-like protocol. So we don't have a high demand on our servers. We actually had our servers go down. We had over 100,000 concurrent connections, and we ended up having to release the game just over torrent for a while, and it worked great. It was able to just keep downloading for everybody without any interruption at all. And that's kind of where the company started shifting away from the games and more into the technology. For the last 2 years or so, we've been developing solely on technology. We acquired an engine for Blitz 3D, and we basically built what's called Blitz 3D Plus, which is basically an enhanced version of Blitz 3D with OpenGL, with more OpenGL support. It has the most modern version of OpenGL, as well as OpenES2 for mobile phones, and it also has DirectX 9, 10, and 11 support, so it's got full DirectX support. We also added networking support with RakeNet. So we're basically looking at making that an available SDK for other developers. And with that, we're able to basically help developers develop their own product quicker. We're also selling licenses at a very low fee, a few $100s for like entry stuff. So. Well, we want to support the developer community. One thing that happened with MechWarrior is it was never very developer friendly, and we feel that we should change that to some degree. So we're definitely looking at making it more accessible to be added to by the community. And certainly as Solaris develops and grows, we want to be sure to encourage our community, because we've had very long time community support. The website's been supported by the community for over 15 years, and we want to give back to that community. Our team is actually comprised of about 15 guys. We're from many different places. We've got people from Canada, several people from Canada. We have people all over the United States. We have 2 guys from the East Coast and 3 from the West. I'm from Washington. We've got 2 guys out of California. We have somebody in New Zealand. We have 2 guys in Spain. We have 2 more in Scandinavia and 1 in Germany. We also have somebody, I think, in the Czech Republic. So we've got people just all over the place. We collaborate over the internet using Skype. We use our forums. We have Mektek.net. So we use that very actively. We constantly are posting and talking to each other. And in general, it's just kind of a loose collaboration of people all that are like-minded and want a singular goal. The future for the company, I feel, is basically expanding on this idea of basically allowing us to have a spectator sport, involving spectators in our games, and then also selling this SDK to other developers that allow them to build their own games. Because not everyone wants to build a MechWarrior game, but certainly if we give them the tools, they can do whatever they want. So we're taking this Blitz 3D and we're going to release it, Blitz 3D Plus, as a developer kit for everybody. And they can use it with the UDK. We're allowing them to integrate with UDK, and they can also use it, in their own time as a standalone product. One big challenge for every game company is securing funding. Currently, we are pretty much self-funded and community funded. We've had as I said, we've had 15 years of community support. They've helped keep our servers online, and a big shout out to our entire community for doing that. That's been fantastic. But looking forward into the future, we would like to hire a lot of our developers and bring them on as full-time employees and take a lot of our ideas and actually make them concrete. As you saw in our demo, that was about 2 months of work in UDK, and there's quite a bit there. But obviously, if we're funded, we can turn around and make that an entire full-featured game in a relatively quick period of time. The future of video games, in my opinion, is going to be a combination of very social media-based games. Things, like games that you play on like Facebook, as well as games you play on your phone. As gamers get older, gamers my age, that are starting to get into their 30s, we have less and less time to play games, but we still want to engage in them to some degree, but for shorter periods of time. So games are going to be easier to jump in and just get a quick game in and then leave without having to have a time commitment. And I feel that a social interaction is going to become more and more common as the time progresses. You're going to see, I think, more Facebook integration with games and games that are allowing people to spectate them in the manner that we are talking about. I think that that's going to happen as time progresses.